I can still remember vividly, when I didn't have 1 naira in my account, I didn't have money in my account. First of all, the people that enter this line of business without getting the required training, experience, knowledge, and all of these things, they are the ones that easily fall prey into the hands of fraudsters. Much of the people that have been investing of late, are mostly people that are based abroad. Sometimes you hear clients, complain about integrity, about trust, about they being duped. So Skycrest Homes is a real estate investment company.
I would like to know, how did you venture into the business, into your line of business?
Oh, okay. How I started, first of all, I used to be in the banking industry. I worked with well-renowned Nigerian banks, for a couple of years, I think about 4 or 5 years. And I then transitioned into working with a real estate firm, as a business development officer, So that real estate firm, I worked with them for close to 3 or 4 years, So I think I moved from being a business officer to a business manager, all the way to becoming the head of business for the organization. And after a while, I then moved to form my own company, So that's how that's how Skycrest got to existence.
And how long has Skycrest Home been?
4 years now. Was established in 2019. Yes, I officially established Skycrest Homes in 2019. 2019.
Okay, great. And you said you were in the banking industry for about 5 years. How was that experience?
Oh, fantastic. It really gave me a whole lot of experience in terms of relationship management, in terms of being good with numbers, in terms of managing clients, that's client management, and also growing a business, because the banking industry is quite versatile. They have different angles and different sectors in it, but it's still about growing the business. Every single business manager or business officer or relationship manager, every single one of them have goals and targets that they're giving virtually every month or every quarter, So it's all about being innovative, to achieve those goals and to also achieve the targets, all geared towards growing the business and growing the
Balance sheet?
The balance sheets of the branches, Yeah, so I think that's.
Yeah. You want to share with us what the experience has been like in an environment like we have in Lagos and in Nigeria, and then the home buying process, right? Transacting in the real estate space.
Okay, well, it's been great so far. I would say it's been great. Although there are a whole lot of challenges in the industry. First of all, the industry is a bit saturated. There are a whole lot of people in this line of business. You find that there are a whole lot of people that are moving into this line of business without having the required training, having the required experience and or professionalism, amongst other factors. So it has made the industry to have a whole lot of views in terms of, from the perspectives of prospective buyers, clients, and the environment at large. Sometimes you hear clients, complain about integrity, about trust, about they being duped, or having fraudulent, being involved in fraudulent transactions, So those are some of the challenges we experience, and this is because, first of all, the people that enter this line of business without getting the required training, experience, knowledge, and all of these things, they are the ones that easily fall prey into the hands of fraudsters and say land grabbers and the rest of the other things we have, So that's why I like to say or encourage people before you get into this line of business, get the required training, get the required knowledge, get the required, if possible, expertise, if possible, get some sort of mentorship, so that you can, be put into the right direction of running this business, So the industry is challenging, but if you know what you're doing, at every point in time, you will scale through.
I'd like to ask, what has been financing been like for you? For the things you do, you get financing from external or a third party, or you do financing yourself? How do you run the entire organization?
Well, so Skycrest Homes is a real estate investment company. We're also into consulting. So I would like to say that we run the business with our own, capital. We do not source for funds or capital from, any external source. But because we're also venturing into development, we might need to go through that step. But we're also looking at ways of doing, of venturing into that without having to get funds from the bank, and we're still working on that.
Okay.
But at the moment, we're running the company, with our own resources, without any help from any external source of finance.
In recent times, where from this side of town, from this side of the world, we hear of a lot of people migrating to the Western world, and what you often refer as to the jackpot syndrome. So I'd like to know, how has this impacted on your business in terms of investors, in terms of even those you work with, right? How has this affected the real estate market where you play?
Well, the impact is something I would like to term or put it in that category of like a roller coaster, It has its ups and its downs. Like for example, we have some staffs that, you've been working with for a while, and not knowing that they have started processing their travel documents so that they can travel out and all. Most of these people, or most of the ones that have left, they don't tell you initially that they are preparing to or processing their documents to travel out, or their intentions to travel out. You just hear it at the point where, it has gotten to the point where they're about to leave, and most times the impact is, it can have that shocking effect, but we've always looked for ways of overcoming things like that, So why it impacts the business? Because after you've spent all that time and resources and all the experience you've impacted on that person or staff, just to suddenly find out that they're traveling, it can leave some sort of vacuum in the business, So that's why most times we like to have, simultaneous sort of training, so that what this staff knows, this other staff knows, so that in that event where this one leaves, the other person can take over, take over and fill up that vacuum whilst we get someone else to, taking the place of training, just so that there's continuity in the business, towards sustainability as well. Yes. Yeah. Much of the people that have been investing of late, are mostly people that are based abroad. Most times the impact is, it can have that shocking effect. There are different investments I would recommend, Land banking is also very good.
I observed you focused more on as regards your team members and staffing. The area I would like you to touch on is as it impacts home ownership.
Oh, fantastic. Yes. So in that regard, in terms of investment, it's still the same roller coaster sort of, I'm just terming it that, but is not, is I mean, I would say it's been fairly okay because much of the people that have been investing of late, are mostly people that are based abroad. I think they have more buying power because of the current exchange rates, So they have more buying power. In fact, much of the people that, have invested or bought properties of late are mostly from the abroad, So if you say some people are traveling out, people are not buying here, some people also are buying from the abroad. So maybe we can look at it from another angle. These ones that are going out, maybe if they get hard currency, or they're able to make some money there, they would really want to come back here to invest. I noticed that Nigerians really love their country. They like to invest in their country. Most of the people living are just living because either they don't have a comfortable kind of lifestyle, or they are maybe aspiring for something better that they cannot get here at the moment. So they want to travel out, see how they can make their lives better, and then come back to either invest, maybe not come back permanently, but maybe invest or come back for vacations. And so it has not really affected the investment figures, or the investment dynamics. Let me use that word. It has not really affected it, because you also hear or see where people are saying, okay, someone contacts us, because of, they are aware of our level of professionalism and what we can do in terms of marketing, sales. So they contact us that, oh, please, I have a property to sell. We're traveling out, we're relocating, help us sell this property. And we step into the picture and help them to market it, get the property, sold. And we also find out whenever there's a distress sale or property of this sort, most times they're usually a little bit below the actual market value of that property. So it helps us to get the property off the market more quickly. So whenever there's a property of that sort of nature, we also find out that, they are standby buyers, So investors are also very much open to these options, someone wants to travel out, wants to sell his property, there's always one or two persons, smart investors that are around to either purchase that property or, have a good deal on it, So, I don't think it's really, anybody can jackpot.
Okay.
It doesn't really affect the real estate industry per se.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Having said that, I'd like you to tell us a bit about where were you born in this city, Lagos, or tell us a bit about your growing days. What school did you attend?
I was born in Lagos, Olode Apapa, axis of Lagos. I did my primary, secondary school here in Lagos, but my university I did at Owerri in Imo State. A full-blown Lagosian.
Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Great. What did you study?
I studied environmental technology from the Federal University of Technology, Owerri. Yes.
Okay. Earlier you were talking about how also the way people are leaving this place to travel for whatever reason. That's how also people are buying properties. Those who are already there are buying properties here or investing there.
Yeah.
I'd like you to touch a bit about it, how the diaspora clients affect this business. In a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate those who are investing in properties here? What I would call the nationals, the people within, right? And those who are in the diaspora. Where does the market tend towards? And then the fact that we get to receive a lot of clients who are interested in these properties from the diaspora. Does it affect the pricing? Does it affect the design styles you see in the market? What's the impact of that foreign investment from Nigerians who are in the diaspora? What has it been like for Skycrest Home and your personal experience?
Well, is the experience is more of tailoring some of these investments to suit what the diasporans want. The diasporans, we have different. How do I put it? We have different individuals, different ideologies, different perception about the Nigerian real estate market, so sometimes we are the ones that educate them, or enlighten them about, why they need to invest in certain areas or certain investment locations, or certain types of investments that are available. Like for example, land banking, land investment, house investment, short-let investment, the Airbnb, all of this. So most times you have to tailor it to suit what they are looking for. There are some clients in the diaspora that are not really looking at buying land at the moment. What they're interested in is what would give them, if not immediate returns on the investment. So for people like that, you have to now check what is available in your portfolio that would suit what they want. Like for example, people like that, you can recommend them to invest with short-lets investment, Airbnb, or maybe rental investment, so those ones also depends on the location and the type of housing structure, that's available, So you give them the indices, the figures. So when you invest in areas like Lekki Phase 1, areas like Oniru, VI, you get this type of returns, virtually every day, and when you buy properties and you want to rent in certain areas, these are what the rental values look like, So it's left for the client to now look at, okay, this is what I'm getting every year, or this is what I'm going to get every month, and those things help them to, look at the particular investment they want to do. So that's why when we get in contact with these people, we do what we call needs analysis. You find out what they want, what they're interested in, or sometimes they can say, what do you think is best, to invest, and then you can give them this, solution. Can now offer them these investments, this investment, and they say, wow, this looks good, and they can just key into it, and that's how it's been good, Rental investment, rental properties, the ones people buy and put for rent, is also very good if you're getting it at a very good price. So if you look at it and say, oh, you're getting virtually all your capital back in 15 years' time, that's a good investment, So he was one of those people that, as he was getting some, he invested early. He bought massive number of plots right here at Chevron, I think one of the major challenge I faced.
Great. While you spoke, another question that came to my mind was, you talked about the different kinds of investment. So at the moment, all right, in this space, in your industry, which of the investment scheme or style or format would you say is the best? I heard you talking about short-let. So at the moment, if I'm to invest, or anybody out there who has got some bucks would want to invest, which of the real estate structure would you recommend for the person to invest based on your experience and what Skycrest Homes is doing?
There are different investments I would recommend. Land banking is also very good. Land banking is very good. Rental investment, rental properties, the ones people buy and put for rent, is also very good if you're getting it at a very good price. If you get it at a very good price, it's also because most times we do the calculation based on what you get back in 15 years, 10, 15 years, So if you look at it and say, oh, you're getting virtually all your capital back in 15 years' time, that's a good investment, So it depends. We like to tell people the importance of, like land banking, for example. I remember when I came in contact with a major investor right here at Chevron. Sometime, I think that's about 2-3 years ago. The guy was a professor in Unilag, many years ago, So he was one of those people that, as he was getting some, he invested early. He bought massive number of plots right here at Chevron, So as at when I met the person, he was just telling us about how he was so fortunate that he got that information about land banking, buying properties, buying landed properties on time. So while he was lecturing, he was using some of those, his salaries or whatever compensation they get, he was just buying landed properties, particularly here in Chevron, Chevy View axis. He bought lots of landed properties. And after, around this, about, let's say, 6, 7 years ago, or 8 years ago, he started selling some of those his lands for about 70 million, 80 million. And these were properties he bought about, I think he said he bought some of them for, is it 2 million? Wow. 2 million naira back then, 2 million, and, back then. Wow. So just look at the massive returns on his investment. The capital appreciation is mind-blowing, A landed property bought for about 2 million naira, you're selling for about 75 million as at then. But landed properties in that estate as of today is selling for 150 million naira, 130 million naira, depending on the size. If you want, we can go and verify.
Thank you so much. While you spoke, another question I would like to ask you at this moment is, in your entrepreneurial journey, having that this show is about entrepreneurs, what's that challenge that came up and then it was like a surprise to you? What's that one issue you'd like to share with us? The challenge that you have encountered in your entrepreneurial journey?
Wow, I experienced a whole lot of challenges in this industry. Whole lot. I can have a whole full day session on this, but I think one of the major challenge I faced, I think, yeah, so I handle some of my clients' portfolio. I have investors that bought properties and, we help them to put it up for rent and also watch over or manage the properties, their properties. So I think we had an incident where one of the tenants did something terrible in one of the houses, But we got to find out that the person we put in the house wasn't actually the person that was staying there, And the person that was staying in the house, committed a huge crime, And, we were a bit taken aback, or we were taken by surprise, because when that happened, we now find out that, okay, this is not the person we rented this house with. This is not the profile we have, in our file. This is what we have. It's different from the person in question, So, it involved a whole of, it was, I don't want to go deep into that, but that was a very huge challenge for that. So we now had to look at ways of tackling things like that so that it don't repeat itself, because of the way society is, a lot of people can move from a state, another state where they committed crime and now come into, move to another state or move to Lagos State here, and, you don't know them, and they can now do things like this, which I'm so sure was what we got to experience, Totally different thing. So we've looked for ways of tackling things like that.
So haven't shared with us a major challenge you've experienced. You want to share with us a bit of some eyes? What has been that most beautiful success you've had on your journey so far?
Okay, so one of the most beautiful experience is the fact that we were able to create trust, in the heart of one of our investors or clients, When we first came in contact with that client, they were a bit skeptical. They were a bit, not really trusting the industry because of the fact that their family members have been scammed, their friends have been scammed, so they were just trying to see if, how can we trust you, this particular client I'm talking about is not based in the country, so it's mostly the diasporans, You need to give them that level of trust and assurance, and it all boils down on your integrity, your integrity and character as well. So we were able to create that trust, and also make sure that the client sees that we operate with integrity, And eventually, when they trusted us with the very first investment we did, it led to several other investments, and I mean, that's really a thing of joy, to bring someone from a state of not believing into a state of believing,
Right.
So it's more like you're turning an unbeliever into a believer, and yes, in real estate, So, I mean, that particular client has really been one of our best clients, over the years.
So another question I'd like to ask you at this time is, what's been the best advice you've had in this journey of entrepreneurship?
Okay, the best advice is still the best advice I've had is, one of my mentors tell me that without goals, you can't achieve anything. You can't be a success without having goals. I mean, a whole lot of us must have heard about goals, but it's real. If you don't have goals, you can't achieve your dreams. You can't achieve your goals, no matter what it is. I can tell you for a fact, a good number of years back, I can still remember vividly, when I didn't have 1 naira in my account. I didn't have money in my account. Even at a point when I came out of university, I didn't have 1 naira in my account. At some point in that stage of life, I didn't have nothing. I had nothing in my account, but because of this same principle of, okay, being able to set goals, being able to have a vision for your life, I'm able to say, okay, within this period of time, I want to move from here to here. Within this period of time, I want to do this. Within this period of time, I want to own my own business. Within this period of time, I want to be able to have this as an asset. Within this period of time. So when you have these goals, you start working, okay, you're seeing the goals, you're working towards something, and it involves you doing it step by step, So once you have goals, you can become anything in life, You can achieve whatever you want to achieve, So I think that's one of the best advice. There are a whole lot of advice, there are a whole lot of advice we get every day, from business tycoons, from some of our business mentors, or from some of our elders. But that singular advice has been sort of like a reality, is something that anybody can take up, and it would actually transform that person's life.